So the hustle never stops, the grind never stops in Kenya, and the grind is corruption. Corruption is a core business. We have realized that Kenya is an economy crafted for the benefit of a few. They have been able to master and to game the system. They have been able to compromise the politicians. They have pocketed the bureaucrats, the hopeless bureaucrats, especially the ones who work at the Treasury, so that they can insinuate their agenda, they can insinuate their objectives in the budgets, in subsequent policy declarations. In this case, we have a company called Blue Nile Rolling Mills based in Thika. They have been awarded an illegal and unfair and unjustifiable tax exemption where they have an edge over their competition. They are our country. At a time when Kenya Revenue Authority is posturing, they have it in their letterheads and as their motto that tulipe ushuru tujitegemee. At a time when we know the finance bill was the cause of grief and consternation to many Kenyans because of the many tax items that they wanted to introduce. And even in light of all that glaring need for our taxes, an extortionate tax regime, they still go ahead to award one company to favor them unjustifiably, to award them tax relief or tax exemptions to the tune of 144 billion. And we're asking, are we living in the same country? Are we living in the same in the same economic environment? Because how does one company benefit? How does one company get 140 billion in tax exemptions? That is money that can be used to fix the Rironi-Mau Summit road. That is money that can fix 14 referral hospitals in 14 counties. And yet we are giving it to one company because they've been able to bribe the Kenya Revenue Authority. They've been able to bribe the Treasury. They've been able to bribe the subsequent officials in the Ministry of Trade and Industry, in the Ministry of Finance. You know, there was Peter Munya, a very corrupt bastard. There was Henry Rotich. Now, Henry Rotich is making waves, making inroads in the corrupt William Ruto kakistocracy. You understand? We have Betty Maina, who was in the Ministry of Trade, purporting to be a very straightforward person, but she was corrupt to the bone marrow. Oh, how do we continue running this country with such kinds of charlatans? How are we meant to flex our entrepreneurial spirit and skills when companies are going to Treasury and awarding themselves and getting concessions? And they are hiding behind World Bank and IFC because if you look at these Blue Nile Rolling Mills, if you look at the National Environmental Management Authority NEMA report, they had said that the initial cost of setting up their company was going to be 700 million, but because of the IFC, International Finance Corporation loan, and a World Bank hiding behind there, the project was inflated to 2 billion shillings. They were lying that they are going to employ over 3,000 people. The people employed there are less than 300. They cook so many stories, they cook so many dimensions so as to justify. And this is what has been happening in Kenya. They kill domestic industry. Someone like Evans Kidero, when he was in Mumias, they were able to connive with the Western Kenya politicians, people like Boni Kalawale, who are always shouting from the rooftops, claiming that they are clean people. They were able to bribe the politicians from the Western region so as to ensure that they pass laws which make domestic production very expensive, giving them room to import. So it's the same even with these Blue Nile Rolling Mills based in Thika. They claim that they are going to create jobs for SMEs that are engaging with them, but they are importing all their stuff from China. And they are claiming that they are going to source from local artisans or local SMEs, but all of that is a lie. They do that just for the flowery language and just to please donors, because donors, as you know, the World Bank and IMF, once you give them a cock and bull story, they are going to buy it and they are going to say that you're the leader or you're the champion of the industry, and they are going to extend any kinds of favors as long as you mask your corruption in flowery languages. You understand? So this is the problem that we have in Kenya. We have our captured ministries, we have our captured bureaucrats We have our captured politicians. We have our captured parliament. They pass these laws. This law is called SOFA, Special Operating Framework Agreement, where they were given exemptions based on a law that was passed in 2012, given tax exemptions. Other industry players are getting hammered. They're getting taxed to the brim. They are getting taxed to the brim. Their companies are on the brink, on the threshold, on the precipice of collapsing because of the tax regime, the unfair economic climate. And then one company is given carte blanche. They are given a tax exemption of 140 billion shillings. Why are we allowing this to happen? Where is the judiciary? We saw there is somebody who has gone and filed a case just challenging this absurdity, this lunacy. And even as the case has not been heard and determined, we have seen that the Kenya Revenue Authority, we have seen some bureaucrats in KRA, in the Treasury, the Mukwana, they are still approving these tax exemptions from imports. The company claims that they are going to be producing, they only want this amount of tonnage, but then they get 30 times more allowed as under the guise of raw materials being imported in the country. So when will this stop? We were in the streets the other day. We stopped because we wanted to give you time to change your ways. But you guys clearly do not have any intention. You don't have any objectives of ever stopping or halting your corruption. You still want to steal opportunities from us as young people. You still want to impoverish the country because of your insatiable appetite for proceeds of crime. You are shameless people, you people in government. You are shameless, you're greedy, you're gluttonous. We don't know where we are going to take you, but you will not stay in those positions forever. And one day, one time, we are going to come and kick you out of those offices because we cannot continue like this. How do you unjustifiably, unfairly, the people, they are competitors there. You are giving these guys an edge. You're giving them 140 billion stolen from our taxes, money that can be used to build lasting legacy projects and infrastructure for the benefit of the common man, the ordinary mwananchi. But you want to share it up there amongst barons and cartels and hoodlums, political hoodlums. And we are telling you, we are serving you a warning. The people who are ignoring this story, the people who are part and parcel of this story, all the bureaucrats, all the government officials, all the politicians, our MPs are so useless. You just rubber stamp anything that is brought from the executive. They tell you, oh, pass this SOFA. This SOFA is structured, it is wired, it is crafted for the benefit of a few outfits, a few individuals. But you, in your infinite stupidity, you're bribed with 10,000 shillings. In the toilet to pass these laws. These laws are punitive. These laws are retrogressive. These laws will come back to haunt the economy. The World Bank and IMF, we saw them. They are trying to convert Kenya. They turn it into a colonial outpost. And they are the ones who have validated. They are the ones who have sanitized this heist by claiming that, oh, they are funding this company. They are funding a company based on flawed and inflated numbers and variables. Everything has been cooked for the benefit of those useless foreign multilateral donors, because they will only serve the interests of the status quo. They are not here to serve Kenyans. They are here to make their own money. And we are telling them, you won't do it at our expense. You won't do it at the expense of the health and the overall outlook of the economy. We will not accept. World Bank and IMF, your malfeasance, your corruption. The US ambassador to Kenya, you're seeing these companies claiming that they've been exporting under the guise of AGOA, the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. They've not done nothing of that sort. The maximum they have sent their product is DRC. And in DRC, they are paid in cash and they are sending to the same people, the same unscrupulous people. So it's almost like they are cooking and they are faking and they are forging these export documents. So why are you quiet? Why is the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, quiet? Because you are part of the scam. Because you are an extension of the William Ruto degeneracy and lunacy. And we are saying enough is enough.